Well, why are you doing it?
Because I'm using my new computer, butthole.
We don't have to be nasty. I mean, I haven't talked to you in a while.
What did I say? Computer?
Well, yeah, you're supposed to call it a PC or, we're live, by the way. I'm just looking at something here.
Oh, I just got like hit with all sorts of notifications that we're live. I know we're live, baby. What happened to you this weekend?
I think I think I've shared I've shared something on Facebook I shouldn't have. Now it's like people could get in here and start editing the show. Hold on a second. Let me. they can get in and evil mastermind this junk. Hold on a second. I got to figure it. I got to spend an afternoon one day to get this to where it's slick, because we were on Jay and Teresa's show last week, and it was freaking cherry how they had this set up. They were rocking and rolling.
Well, they do like 8 podcasts a day.
True.
And then they use this thing all the time.
You said Candy may be on later?
Yeah, she said she'll probably call in about 7:30.
That's sweet. What's she doing?
It.
Here we go. I got it. I'm about to actually share this on Facebook, man. Can you believe that?
Hey,
social media.
You're about to do the right thing. And if you're watching the YouTube link that I shared, I don't know if we can see your comments because it's supposed to all stream into this.
I have always been able to see people's comments.
See, I usually can't. I have to watch the YouTubes to see the comments because it won't play. But I'm gonna try it with this new computer, this new fancy computer I got.
Is it a good one?
I think so. I don't know.
Well, you bought one,
and of course, as soon as we go live, Alex Pearson messages me because it's like he has a habit of whenever I can't answer, he messages, and I love him. It's like my mom never calls me unless I'm taking a shit.
Well, that's got to be a Freudian thing. What is that about?
I don't know. Maybe I just want to go back. Oh, see now. Oh, now I see it. Roy and Joan, what's up, y'all? I see the comments. Fantastic.
Where? Now I don't see them.
I do.
Oh, there they are. Yeah. Roy Peabody. Who the hell is Roy Peabody?
That's Weibolt's a fantastic man.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. He's like he's like Jason Momoa light. He's or heavy.
See now I don't dress up, and I got a zit right here on my eyeball, which is the thing you'll see the entire. I could flip off the audience for an hour, but anyway, all these people have chimed in, so now you get to see the comments. You get to see Susan's here, Roy Peabody is here, Joan is here, the molester is here. The crazed molester, 6969. He's always there watching me.
Oh, that's really weird. Hey, and well, just let's talk about the if anybody knows me, the elephant in the room. I should have died over the weekend. When you go to the doctors and the doctors,
I had you in the death pool too. That's I did very close to paying off.
When the doctor looks at you and he doesn't say, looks at your blood work and everything, doesn't say you could have died. He says you should have died. That's not cool.
I don't want to downplay your story, but do you think doctors get off on saying shit like that to people?
No, well, no. Me and him had a good rapport. I mean, we were I'm me, and I mean, I'm sick as shit, and I'm in the doctor's office cutting jokes and farts, and I fell asleep during the examination. But what happened? So what happened was Friday. I was lifting some chairs, and all of a sudden my bobalones like exploded, and so I ran to the bathroom, and it was a bloodbath. I just, and I at that time I passed a kidney stone.
Okay, I was about to say you need to. There you go. All right, I was going to say you have to tell people what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I passed a kidney stone violently, and
Jesus.
and with me, I'm weird. I was still in a great mood. So like I'm sitting there walking, trying to get over to where my wife is, and I'm holding my balls, and I'm like, and my general manager's there, and my wife is her boss, and I'm like, oh, God, my Babylons, but so. And to me, it was like, I've been through this before. My body's going to feel bad. It was Friday. I figured, I'll be back to work Monday. But Friday night, it just out of nowhere, I just went, and my temperature jumped up to 103. My brain disconnected from my physical body because like I'm laying in bed, freezing and sweating and shivering, and I have a thin blanket on, and all I need is another blanket. But it took 2 hours for me to finally go, okay, blanket, blanket,
Oh, you can.
It went like that. And
Oh,
there was a couple times that I went to one of those pictures from the hike. And there was times that I went to bed and I was like, I'm not waking up. And Lori, bless her soul, she tried to get me to go to the hospital, and I should have gone. I should have gone to the hospital. You're right. And in every sense, unless you were in that, have ever been in that experience that I was right over there. Yeah, looking behind you, I was right over there. I should have gone to the hospital. I knew I should have gone to the hospital, but I couldn't even pull a blanket up an inch. The thought of getting up, getting into walking to the car, walking out my bedroom door, it was there was no possible way that I could have done it.
Well,
and
that's the first sign that you need to go to the hospital is when you can't, when you're like, I need to plan for 2 hours to pull a blanket up over my ass.
Well, and I spent my whole life I've had for 22 years, whatever, of my life, or actually, okay, for my whole life, because, until I hit 18, when I hit 18, I had a government job where I had health insurance. And then I had health insurance as a police officer. But then for a couple of years there, we didn't have health insurance. And I took one ambulance, and my son had to ride in an ambulance. And I got that bill. And if you've ever got the bill for riding in an ambulance in the state of Tennessee, you're never going to ride in an ambulance again. It's, this is how things happen, Punk. I'm just trying
to entertain people while they're listening to a terrible story.
Hey, no, you know what else is a terrible story? Yo, mama.
I wish. So get to the good stuff. What does God look like? Did you ask God what he thought of me, or is it a girl? Or
here's the beauty of having a brain melting fever is you have fever dreams.
Right.
And out of these fever dreams might be born great ideas. And one of the ideas was that Bootsy Collins, the bass, the funk bass player, the legend, is God. And this is
sold.
This is an idea for a movie.
Sold American.
And this is a movie idea, and I think we're going to make this. And it turns out that we know somebody who lives next door to Bootsy Collins.
Next door. Good friends.
And so we so Bootsy Collins is God, and he's looking down at this at 2020, at this creation that he made with all this beauty, and looking at what's going on in 2020, and he don't like what's going on. So he takes a Sony Walkman and puts a Bootsy Collins tape right in there, and he throws it back through time into the caveman era, and it lands at the feet of a caveman that looks just like Vinny Vineyard.
Who?
And he puts those headphones on, and he figures out how to press play, and all he knows how to say is ugh and ooga ooga. And he wakes up, he listens to that all night. He wakes up the next morning, and Funkmaster V is born. And he's going to reshape how the world it's and just the comedy that we could do out of that. Just you trying to, you speaking English and funk and talking to the world, or trying to convince the tribes around us, and just and instead of like, I just imagine, if you ever seen the movie Caveman, the outfits where they got like fur boots and loincloths and loin togas and everything, and all of us, the other actors, are all wearing that. You're wearing that, but with the mink coat over it.
I just think trying to teach somebody how to play drums, and there's so many, like telling people to hit on the one when you can't speak,
yeah.
and like seeing the Black tribe and being like, oh, hey! And then they'd be like, because I'm different skin color, like they would.
But then you start playing the bass harmony, and then the world
that
comes
could
to
happen.
peace, it changes the course of history.
Yes, and then like 2 days later, everybody's like slamming a basketball and shit.
Well, the commentary that came to me about it was like, that's how civilization was born, through, warring with each other and dominating each other and hunting and gathering. But if it would actually started based off of funk music, we'd be living we'd have a mighty different history.
Well, it's kind of weird that you talk about that. I was not to get schmaltzy, but I always
you threw a Bootsy Collins tape through a time. Excellent.
Well, yeah, it's a nice, perfect segue to how I've decided I was going to defeat Hitler with funk music. Go back in time, and I tried it once already, but I accidentally killed Eleanor Roosevelt. I gotta tune it up a little bit. Look, Mama, we got a nice little crowd here for a thing we did not talk about. I guess people are excited about you being alive. People are excited about all of the stuff.
Stoked.
We normally do something big for Halloween, and this year I'm going to wait till you said Candy may get on here later.
Yeah, let's talk about that later.
And then we'll talk about that. But we're gonna have some plans. Wrestling with Ghosts. We haven't done anything about Wrestling with Ghosts in about 4 or 5 months, so we're gonna do something on Halloween. It's going to be kind of nice. I've got news. I don't know. I'm going to save the news till when Candy gets on here.
If she does, we'll give her to about 7:40, and then we'll just go without her.
If she doesn't, we'll throw her. We'll chuck her ass off. We'll fire her ass off the roof.
What do you think, Travis?
Travis has bad internet. You know him. That's been his excuse for 5 years. Of course,
5 years.
So he sends Snapchat messages and photographs of his junk like a laser, like he's got Tokyo speed internet.
He's got a satellite attached to his head. Ding.
Haunted Realms is here. Remind me, what is Haunted Realms? Who is that? I'm just terrible with names. I was talking to somebody last night. You remember there's that redheaded chick named Tina White.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what her name was and then when she was like, "Hey, it's me," and I'm like, "Oh, I just recognize people by their face now."
You spent how long editing a TV show that she with her in it?
No, she wasn't in that.
Wasn't Tina White the one? It was with the.
She's the tall tattoo chick that's redhead.
Oh, I think the other girl's name is Tina White too.
See, I don't know. I'm terrible with names, and I think I'm going to offend a lot of people. But anyway, I don't know.
I think
Sam Henderson is with Haunted Realms. All right, I know him.
No, yeah. I think that more people need to just use descriptors as their Facebook names so we know who they are. Like redhead boobs. Oh yeah, I remember you.
That's Instagram, and that's worse for me. I don't on Instagram. I'm like, who are these people? And then I'm like, oh, this is my brother. Okay. But it's always something like Corn Pone 99 or something, and you're like, or Little Miss Big Tits, and you're like, hey, that's my boss at work.
Ask Master weird. 5, Dad.
Right. It's like Secret Punk 1942, and you're like, Dad? So
the Lord?
Sailor Delight. Anyway, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're gonna string it out, but I mean, I haven't talked to you since I don't think The premiere. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Wasn't the premiere? It was a test screening.
Test screening.
And
it wasn't the premiere because we didn't play the movie. And I think it hurt a little bit in my viewing that we separated the endings to choose the ending because it kind of broke the tension.
Let's talk about the positive of it. It was fun. Did you have a good time?
It was, take the typical getting married, birth of kids stuff out of life, and it was the best moment I've had in entertainment. You
birthed a child?
Yeah, man, right out of my butt, man. It had corn for eyes.
Jesus, that's a show right there.
I got him in a jar right over there. His name is Blake.
Candy Crush. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, that was a very stressful day. Let me just play through what I went through because nobody knows what I went through except you and Candy.
No, you're going to go into the dress, right?
No, I'm going to go into about 2:00 in the afternoon. I didn't know we were going to be able to show the movie because Halls is a remote, outlying little community on the north side of Knoxville, heading into nothingness. There's nothing, and so the cinema is pretty outdated.
Which, hold on, is really a weird name that it's called Halls when it goes to nothing.
Right. There is no hallway to anything. It's more like a flattening. If you go too far past.
It's the end of Halls.
But that's what's weird. I told you, Halls Cinema 7. It was probably, I think, that was the first time I ever touched a boob. That wasn't
Friday?
My sister.
Nice.
When I was a kid,
when
I first moved down to Tennessee, I think that's why I stayed here. I touched a boob and I never left. I was hooked on Tennessee. But they have these like old projectors and stuff.
If you touch a boob in Baltimore, your hand gets stuck.
See, I feel like I'm one. You ever talk to one of those mothers that has like 3 children under the age of 8, and then when they talk to an adult, they're all of a sudden laughing at everything they hear, and I know, because they don't have any adult conversation. I haven't talked to any friends because this damn coronavirus and shit. You almost died.
Well, and I got to apologize. I'm all jacked up because I've been on my deathbed for 5 days. I finally feel pretty good. I'm sweating. I still got a fever, but I just ate 2 full plates of pot roast, mashed potatoes, and veggies, man. But I haven't eaten anything but it took me almost 2 days to eat a bacon cheeseburger.
Well, boy, your health food thing went the fuck out the window, didn't it?
Dude, and my body's just like, eat everything.
So you look skinny again. Like I was busting your balls last time I saw you because you were saying that you were skinny, and I was like, you were about 4 months ago, and now something has happened. And then and you were like making fun of me the way I looked in the dress. You're like, your gut's sticking out of the dress. I said, well, it's a 4, you son of a bitch. I'm wearing a 4. I'm rocking.
And you were a 4.
Yeah,
you were a 4.
I was. Well, I was a Baltimore
4.
I was a Baltimore 6. But anyway, I could have made some money in Magnolia that night. I know I could have.
Oh no! If we were on Magnolia, I'd have given you $20.
I felt pretty sassy in that. So anyway, I'll go back to the story. So, I was up for 36 straight hours trying to burn a DVD. Now, when was the last time anybody has ever heard of a human being burning a DVD? And I had to drive to Knoxville to borrow a DVD burner. And then I spent almost $150 on programs to try to burn a DVD because the Hall Cinema could not use USB. They couldn't use flash drives. They couldn't use hard drives. So I was panicking. And about 2 o'clock.
Millimeter. Could we put it on?
Right. That would have been easier. That would have been easier to put it on a goddamn VHS.
Put it on one of those Viewmasters.
So I was making special trips to buy DVDs, and then that wouldn't recognize the DVD. I had to go to another store, buy another more expensive DVD. It was a nightmare. And then at 2:00, I almost called everybody, you and Candy and Travis, and said, can we do sock puppets? Can we do a table read? Can we do like interpretive dance or a knife fight or something like that? You know, because the movie ain't happening.
Well, yeah,
but eventually,
putting a 4K 30 frames per second movie and a DVD format is...
Well, no new computer. I got a brand new computer. No new computer has this DVD burner, and there's no programs for that. It's just dead. It's dead technology. So it was a nightmare. And we tried this years ago when we were trying to do the Wrestling with Ghost DVD. We couldn't. People spent weeks trying to burn DVDs of Wrestling with Ghosts, and it's just like there's just the technology is just gone. So that was the first time I was nervous since my daughter was born. I don't have nerve problems. I never get nervous. I don't get stage fright. Things don't bother me. Things roll off. But that night was in peril. And I was calling the Henrys, and Tommy Henry's in the background going, well, what's the backup plan? What? We got to have a backup plan. I mean, it's just funny to hear Tommy Henry in
play Child Play 3. I don't know.
He was like, he was freaking out. So we were all freaking out. But lo and behold, the lady called me, the lady that owned the theater called me from Biltmore. She was hanging out at Biltmore. I had to bother her. And she said, if you take your computer, you can hook it into the gimmick. And I was like, well, thank Christ. And we figured it out. It was easy to do. And the only problem was about halfway through the movie, I got like a little, you remember because you yelled something out. It was like a John McAfee security warning popped up during the movie because it was playing right off the hard drive, which that sucked. But at least it wasn't in a critical part. But it actually, we had a lot of people. We had a lot more people than we thought. We maxed out. I think only 2 people left. Like I could see this guy. I was like, wow, this is something. And he just left. But there were a lot of people I didn't know. The Henrys put it on. And they're the guys that run KFW Wrestling. And Child's Play 2, people watched it and people enjoyed it. Some people didn't like it. But when our movie hit, it seemed like everybody was energetic. It seemed like there wasn't a joke in the movie that didn't get a laugh. It wasn't like there wasn't one of those jokes that just kind of died.
I'm saying this out of, this is how I grew up. I grew up in black movie theaters. There's a difference between black movie theaters and white movie theaters. White movie theaters, everybody's like, oh,
right.
Black movie theaters, everybody interacts with the movie. It's way more fun. That was the first black movie theater experience I've had since coming to Tennessee 20 years ago.
And it was I don't think there was a black person in there. It was all white people. So it was like we had that response from a bunch of whiteys. I do think there was a lot of 420 happening,
which there should be.
Yeah, and so and some people, like my daughter and a couple other people, were upset that some of the series, like there is a lot of humor in The Hike.
Yeah,
but we try to. There is horror, and we try to get schmaltzy. We try to hurt you in the feels a little bit with the movie and get you kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And people were laughing at serious things, but I told everybody, you gotta just relax. I mean, laughter is better than silence.
Yes.
And people, like I said, people were laughing at everything we wanted them to laugh at. And I think you got to, and then at the end, there were a couple moments where we did want no humor. And then bada boom, there was gasp, and it was fun. It was fun to see people's reaction. It was, certain things happen and people, oh my God, I can't believe. And you're like, and people picked up on stuff too, Luke, that me and you had talked about like last year. And we're like, nobody's going to notice this.
And they did.
But we'll do this. And people were like, dude, this and this and this. And we were like, that is so satisfying. And I understand I'll let you retort here, but I understand what you're saying. When you do a wrestling match, you don't know what is really registering with people most of the time. When you're doing a song, you don't know what's really speaking to people. But like when you present a movie, and you hear the audible, like you said, it was like an African-American crowd in there. People were talking, yelling. When they saw boobs, they would holler out. When they would, it was fun. It was like a carnival or a festival or a wrestling match. It was neat to hear people go, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened," or "I can't believe," this kind of thing. And it was that was my whole entertainment career. That was one of the most satisfying nights because it was validation for all the time and money.
Without giving away any spoilers or anything, but I'm going to say some things that, kind of like Matthew came up to me afterwards and he goes, "Dude, wasn't a lot of blood, but it made it more impactful when there was," and stuff like that. And like the ending, there's several reveals that kind of happen, boom, 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 because what we wanted to do is take you this direction and then take you this direction, then take you this direction, and then cut your head off.
Right.
And we succeeded.
Yeah.
Because that ending, people are like, "What the? No, that can't. What the? That was beautiful." And it turns out with a horrible thing that happens at the end, and people were cheering. And that's awesome that people were like, "Yes, that's cool." It wasn't because, yay, go, what happened? It was, that was the right decision. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I dug it. I mean, this thing is not going to be Citizen Kane. It's not Star Wars. It's not
supposed to be. It's an entertainment movie.
It is. It's a popcorn. It's a 420 movie. I don't necessarily think it's a B movie in the regards that there's a lot of campy horror and stuff, but it is a fun movie.
Well, in its silliness that there is in it, and seriousness, there is also layers to it. There's things that there's Easter eggs in there. There's hints. There's clues. There's commentary. There's it's not just a story that goes from front to back. There's other things involved in that you have to think about. We don't give you every answer, but we do give you every answer.
Well, and there's also things nobody picked up on this, and I haven't even said it, but every major character in the movie represents one of the 7 deadly sins.
Okay.
And you can sit there and figure out which one is which if you ever watch it. People are asking.
I'd say Jeremy Cantelli in his underwear kind of gives away, in women's underwear kind of gives away.
No, dude. So we were worried. Now we'll talk a little shop here. Now we got Jeremy Cantelli to wear women's underwear.
Jeremy Cantelli, a former Secret Service agent to the Obamas, and a former Louisiana deputy sergeant.
He wasn't, I'll just go on the record, he wasn't a Secret Service, but he did do security for Obama privately and also W. And he knew both families pretty well. And he got to meet, he actually had a cigarette with Obama. Now, the weird thing about Jeremy, too,
smokers,
is his, right? I hate him. I'd love to kill them all right now, like if I push a button. Okay, so people are asking this. Let's address this. I have information about the movie and where you can see it. It will not be on a Sci TV. It will not be on at least not initially. It won't be on YouTube. It will be, this is something me and Luke poured almost $20,000 of our own money into. This is to make money. And we are, as of a couple days ago, there were 4 or 5 distributors fighting to
a bidding war.
Yeah, to sell this movie. And we've been quiet and it's been frustrating. And I got news and I want to share it with Candy and everybody else. So anyway,
here's what we'll say.
But
you'll know where to buy it when we know.
The minute
we can't shut up.
The minute, you know how we are on social media. We will be like, and we're kind of getting frustrated now too, because everybody's like, okay, it's been in the newspaper, it's been on TV, they had this, okay, you talk about it all the time. When can we fucking watch it? And we're like, I know, I want to get it out there. So anyway, I want to get back to this because you alluded to something. This is a little shop. So Jeremy Cantelli's wearing ladies' underwear for us to prove how much he loves us. And this movie,
he didn't have to because we love that guy.
This movie also made me feel good because when we did it, it was like, it got all of our friends, from ghost hunting to pro wrestling to music to our comedy to our politics, the stuff, all these genres and all these things that we've ever done and outreached. All of our friends, when we were like, "Can you help?" They were like, "Hell yeah!" And so Jeremy, last minute, did something for us, and he was in ladies' underwear. And for some reason, we went to Bristol and Virginia or Tennessee, one of them, and we bought some ladies' underwear, some panties for Jeremy. And so we're in the shop, and it's COVID, right? I mean, so there's all these people in masks in there, and this lady walks up, looks like my wife, selling, right in front of the dildos and the jackhammers and stuff. And she's sweet. And it's not like, I always expect somebody to have an eye patch and a hook for a hand and a parrot on their shoulder. And maybe I get sex shops and pirate ships confused, but I just, but I always
did you go to a sex shop at Treasure Island? What?
I just always expect there to be like, you want to see what we've done to these teenage whores from Asia?
Their Edward Dildo hands is
right. Like,
hey.
So this lady is just sweet as hell, and she buys us some bargain panties, but we made a mistake. We should have went with red. I think Jeremy picked the color. I don't know why. He got the keep them. Yeah. So they were like this light pink, and the problem was they're light pink, and on the film, because you color grade it and you do stuff with the tones, they look white. And so we were like, these are just going to look like tidy whities. They're not going to look like this guy.
Look like fruity underwear.
Yeah. But because you couldn't color correct it. If they were a certain color that you could have grabbed onto with the editing, you could have color corrected and made it pink or purple or whatever. So I'm sitting there like, this is going to kind of fall flat. The scene happens when it starts to, the camera just starts to go up, and you see that this guy is in ladies' underwear. And there's a guy sitting a row behind me, and he goes, "What the hell?" And you just hear all these people just start breaking out. And I was like, God, it hit. It worked. That worked. I thought that was going to be a miss. And that was a lot of fun is to see 50 or 60 or how many people were in there, the swinging and misses and stuff. Well, you gotta save the city, Batman. What's going on?
My daughter's trying to give me a cat, and this is what she's trying to hand me.
Oh, is that feet?
That is feet. That is my cat. There's a million cats named Paws and Mittens and Boots. I got feet.
Those are feet.
We're not keeping y'all. We'll tell you when it's available when we can. But we've got more information a little bit later. We're not trying to kayfabe that, but he wants Ken to know this is information I don't have.
This because people that have followed us have seen us fail and lie a lot, right? I mean, we've said, "Hey, we're going to be on Destination America." Well, we won something on Destination America.
Well, they didn't hear us lie. They heard us tell what was supposed to happen.
Right.
Well, actually, how do you put it? If somebody lies to you and you repeat the lie,
right?
Are you lying?
But after a while, we look like a couple of jabrones, like we're just making all this shit up, and that's why me and you are nowadays like we're not telling anybody anything.
Well, and that's exactly what happened with Renaissance Men, which is a show we should still make. We should forget about everything else TV-wise and concentrate on that when we go back to it. What happened with it, and I think it's a hilarious story that we never really told, is we had this great show called Renaissance Men, where we were going to do 100 different things. We're going to wrap every reality show at once. So we made a pilot. Pilot episode.
The background of the show is that me and you are Renaissance men, pro wrestlers, cops, bounty hunters, musicians, comedians, whatever.
Right in on it.
And so we were going to do every type of reality show, and we were going to try things that we've never tried before, and we were also going to do things that we were experts in, and just kind of show. One of the ideas that we had, we wanted to do a recurring thing just to put an idea of what this thing would look like, is we were going to go to a city where there was an unknown musical legend and get them to tell their story, get them to play a couple songs on the show. Me and you would actually play with them at a live concert, because I'm a bass player, you're a guitar player. We would, we've been trying to get Travis to play the shaker. He's just too lazy to do it. Some sort of percussion. We could write the djembe, the old washboard, something like that.
The
didgeridoo, the theremin, something like that. But, that was just one idea. And then one episode could be us ghost hunting. One episode could us be training people to be pro wrestlers. One, we could learn how to do street magic, and be like, hey, do you like corned beef? There's corned beef, or whatever. So that was the premise of the show. All right. I just wanted to lay that down. Now which
was way longer than the ending of the show. So what we decided to do is film a pilot, and Jeremy Cantelli came out and helped us with it. We put a lot of work into it. Then what we did is we put a sizzle together it's available. You just look on either of our Facebook pages. We shared it yesterday. About a 3-4 minute sample of the pilot. And what I always thought would be hilarious is taking Funkmaster V fishing. Funkmaster V fishing, and those are two opposite universes. And so, we recorded it. It was hilarious. It was a great day. That Callahan chick was sweet as pie. And, there were some good jokes in it. And so I put it together and sent it off to this producer that I know who sells reality TV shows. And all he did in about 30 seconds is sent me a message back. Nobody's buying fishing shows. And so we just we're done. Fuck it. Nothing else. And it's because we're so aggravated with how Wrestling with Ghosts went with all the promises and contracts and bullshit. We're like, we're not doing this again. We're gonna make our own. That's when we're like, we're just gonna make Wrestling with Ghosts ourselves. And we started Aside Paranormal.
That was a frustrating exchange. I thought I got the email because he said nobody's doing fishing shows, and if they are, they're serious. And I was like, this is just a sample. And then I said, this is just one example of a different type. We could do different types of reality shows. And he was like, good to know. That was the only response. And at that point I just went, I'm going to kill myself. This is frustrating, because I think that would have been interesting. And that guy's a friend
of ours. He's a good guy. We like him. When somebody that you like says shit like that, you're just like, fuck it.
I mean, it comes down to the fact, we won't say who this guy is, but he is a Hollywood producer of TV, not film, but he's struggling. TV is dying, and that's when we realized, screw television, because it is dying, and movies are dying. Let me tell you this real quick. Were you done?
No, I was just saying what we're going to do is we're going to make a bunch of money off the hike. And then we're going to get a bunch of acclaim for it as like the next comedy horror guys. And then we're going to do Web Creek, which is a straight up horror movie. And we're going to make a ton of money, and Netflix is going to love it. And then we're going to do another thing. And then I'm going to send him the same exact trailer for the sizzle reel for Renaissance Men, and be like, hey, do you think they'd take us? Well, do you think they'd buy a fishing show?
Well, that was one thing too. I thought, like, if it wasn't me and you, who were virtually unknown, if it was like Anthony Bourdain and Josh Gates with that show, that would have been the number one show in the world, or whatever. People would have been like, holy shit, I got to see that, because they would have.
I'm going to shoot Candy a text real quick. So go ahead and tell where you're going, and I'll see if she can join us.
All right. Let's go through the comments here. Let's see what we got. We got a lot of people talking tonight, and we appreciate that. You looked marvelous. Thank you, Cheryl Rome. I appreciate it.
She's talking about me.
She's talking to me. Damn. Let's see. There's no bootleg copies of The Hike. That's bad stuff, Roy. Don't piss me off.
No, that actually did kind of happen, and we put an end to it quick.
Mitch. High-pitch Mitch the Furry. His other nickname is Damn It Mitch. And again, he had a damn it moment. There is a copy of The Hike on the internet. It's hidden, and it's only for people to review it and also to give to distributors and stuff. And somehow Mitch hacked into our YouTube And he was like, I found it, guys. Like, we wouldn't know where the fuck our own movie was. And he posted it for people to watch. And I woke up like at 1 a.m. and it was like, something's wrong. And I look and Mitch is sharing the movie for free. And we're not doing that. This isn't, we didn't do this for fun. I mean, it was fun, but this was a lot of money and a lot of time. And
the positive that comes out of that is excellent reviews.
Well, yeah, people loved it, but I mean, it was like people, So anyway, somebody said your cat is adorable. Joan said that. If you ever need drummer, Roy is a drummer.
Nice.
Wobafett is actually watching the show. I think I know who that is. That's one of your cats is watching the show, right?
Yeah, that is.
And Cheryl said you can always go with Roy and I for digging crystals. Pretty sure I never did. Now, Luke is an amateur gemologist. I mean, he knows a lot about that stuff. He can bore you to tears with that shit.
Yeah, I bore me to tears with the shit. That's why I do it. It's nice to get bored.
Do you still do that?
No, I still have my the ones that I found and some of them that I bought, and I look at them and it's nice and everything. And but it's just, I don't have time for that. I've got to focus my energy on, see, here's the real behind the scenes kind of stuff is, I got to focus on movies. And then people are like, well, you just made a movie. Yeah, I've got to focus on 4 movies from now. You know what I'm saying? I've got to focus on, I scripted the next 2 movies already and came up with I think the caveman idea has got to happen. That'll be the 4th. But then we've also got ideas for 5, 6, 7. I can't just sit down and write a script. I have to have ideas and characters and everything. I am busy as shit with scripting this stuff, and we're starting pre-production on Web Creek as soon as we find out what's going on with selling this gimmick.
Right. Well, all right. Let's talk about that. Candy says she's in a bad mood, so we'll just carry on with her.
That time of the month. Sorry, Justin. Tell her, bring her some chocolate.
See, you've alienated more than half of our fan base there. So
that's what I do.
So I guess I'll tell you this. We do have distribution deal, and tomorrow we're going to talk to Tim at 11:30 Central, which will be 12:30 our time. So are you going to be
at work?
Well, then I'll talk to him, and then I'll text you as soon as I know something. So it's sold. So
you know what? I'll walk away. You call me, and I'll walk away at work.
All right, just don't fall into coronavirus or get another flesh-eating disease or something. So that's finalized, and once that's finalized and we get the ball rolling on that, we can move forward with the next project, which is a zombie movie, which you've told me about for 2 years. It's you got a black friend in Chicago who's a zombie writer. He does that for a living. He says it's the most unique idea he's heard of in zombies, in a zombie universe that he's ever heard, and he does that for a living. He's not just a fan. Brandon Bishop's here. He saw Frog today. That's good. Well, he's traveling the country. He could have just went outside and looked in the lake, but it's good to have Brandon here. But so that's the news, is that we sold the movie. We just got to get the dot the I's and scratch the T's and scratch the nuts and Stugatz and all that stuff. Halloween is coming up, and it's a good thing that Brandon's here. We haven't done anything with Wrestling with Ghosts because Wrestling with Ghosts takes a lot of time. It's because it's like 3 people making a show and 2 people on that show. And it takes a lot of time and effort. And we got a couple of episodes in the can, but what we will do for our fans or a fan of Wrestling with Ghosts is Halloween. We're going to get together. I was hoping Candy would be here, and we were going to do a live broadcast, and we're going to do a couple of those sensory deprivation experiments. In a creepy place. Do you have any creepy places in mind?
Dude, what's creepier than where we shot the hike?
The only problem is you don't get good cell phone reception.
I do.
There.
You just have a stupid iPhone.
Well, you told me on the phone you don't have good. I mean, you're just trying to seem like a badass with your Android.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. No. Yeah, with the I get okay, and with the leaves being down, you'll probably get real good service too. So,
well, sweet. Doesn't have anything to do with the iPhone or Android. It's just I have Sprint, and they got bought out.
and
Sprint was terrible, and they got bought out by T-Mobile, which is worse. And so I barely. Hey, Haunted Realm says he loves sensory deprivation. I don't know anything about it. So this is going to be real creepy. I've seen the thing, like we're going to do the thing with the ping pong balls and the red lights, and you're supposed to be able to see people's faces and stuff. There's a couple experiments that Candy knows about. And again, me and Luke are the wrong two to talk about this out of the group, but this is kind of her bag.
Hey, you bring me something, I'll do it. That's all there is to it.
Hey, put this stick. See how far this will go up your butt.
Hey, I'm for it.
It disappeared. I don't know. I'm still cracking myself up at the thinking that a pirate is in a sex shop. Susan Stevenson, I love you guys. Vinny, you look fabulous. Luke, you're below average. No, let's see. Luke, so happy you're still with us. Can't wait to see the hike. I can't wait for people to see it.
Oh God, I want people to see so bad because there's bars at past. There's people that me and you never thought would see this movie, even if it was in a theater across the street from their house, and we sent them free tickets, which is our families. My dad went to the theater. And we talked about it, never in a million years. My dad roared through the whole movie. At the end, gave me a big hug and said, that was so much more than I expected. And then my mom saw it. Now we sent my mom the YouTube link because she's got bad cancer, and my mom, who's her favorite movie ever, I think, is History of the World Part 1, and
well, that's in the vein.
Yeah, and she loved it, and there's now
a lot of people are going to hear this and go, "Your mom and dad liked it," but you don't understand.
No, my mom and dad hate each other though. No.
But like our families are they're assholes to us. Like I'm actually watching the Sopranos. Well, okay, but I'm just saying they're very odd people, right? Would you at least go with
They've never seen me wrestle. They've never seen me play music live.
They're not very supportive of their artistic son. Let's put it that way. And my family's the same way. I'm watching.
Now, if my brother was going to take a shit on the sidewalk, they'd go.
Right. See, there's that. Okay, now the veil is we're moving the veil back a little bit here. What I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be insulting.
I love you, Mom.
All right, yeah, whatever. So I love you too. Hell, fuck. I'm glad you like the movie. But my family, I'm watching The Sopranos, and Tony Soprano's mom is my mother Dixie. And I'm watching, it's like watching a home movie. Hey, Ma, you gonna come to the game Saturday? What game? Hey, Meadows in the sectionals on Saturday. Nobody tells me anything. Did everybody just hear me tell Mom about the game Saturday? I've had that conversation to a T, minus the sport and minus the name. And it's just like, God, I'm watching a home movie. So that's kind of where I come from. These really weird, like they can't experience joy. My family went. The movie's about my brother. I told you
your brother's story is freaking great. You gotta just go ahead.
I told you, I'm making a story. This is my brother's stories. Who I adore, my brother.
Half the movie is your brother.
Half the movies, a lot of the little MacGuffins and things are about for my brother, and there's stories that my brother told him. And we need to pay this. My brother deserves money. A lot of this movie is my brother's stories. So I told you, I said, nobody from my family is going to see this movie besides the people that I married and created with the person that I married. They're kind of obligated, but everybody else I'm related to, they're not going to watch it. And I said, if my brother does watch it, his review will be, after the movie, all these people, all these cool people, all of our weird and goofy friends coming up to him. Thank you so much for the movie. Thank you so much for, your input. I can't believe you're Vinny's brother. It's good to meet you. I'm so-and-so. Oh my God. and my brother's telling stories, and my brother gets animated, and he's like having a good time, and he's telling more stories, and people are fucking laughing because my brother's a great storyteller. After the movie, what'd you think? And it's exactly. Don't you lie? Don't you lie? If you hate the movie, don't you? Because they're weird people. The people I'm related to are very, and I don't mean weird like me. I got like a championship belt with my name on it, and I'm a weird guy. I wear I've not worn anything but a bathrobe in about 9 months. I'm not saying I'm a picture of normality, but they're very weird people. They're not like me. The people that I'm.
Well, that was the beauty of the reviews, because I don't, as wrestler, musician, everything. You get off stage, oh man, that was great. If I'd have heard, oh man, that was great, I'd have been like, okay, you didn't like it, move along.
Right. They're just, and they're just being a nice person.
Yeah, but instead, when people come up to you and talk about moments, like when you get done playing a set and somebody starts coming, man, that solo you played during, then they liked it. People were coming down and saying that, and the biggest. I knew after the thing I did not want in the movie was Billy Marshall, and not Billy. As a person, I thought his character arc was stupid. And then we recorded it, and I was like, "This is way too dumb to be in the movie." And then I saw it, and it's the greatest thing in the movie. And
you're welcome.
80% of the people that watched the movie agreed that Billy Marshall's role in the movie and what he does is the highlight of the movie, comedically.
I hear this is what I hear so far from the very few people that have seen it. Billy, the forest ranger scene or the mushroom scene where we're tripping on mushrooms.
Because I was worried about that too, but we had so many great ideas for the mushroom scene, and Candy in that thing did a thing that was
a couple things in that. Yeah, it was. I told Billy. I know what was funny. I like being right. By the way, you're right a lot. You are right, and I don't agree. I don't agree with you a lot of times when you have ideas. I normally, when I'm quiet, I'm like, I hate his idea, but I don't ever say you're an idiot or fuck this or that's a terrible idea, because you're right most of the time. I'd say from 70 to about 85% of the time you're right. And I sit there and I listen. I'm like, okay, I'm going to think about this, because Luke, your humor is different than mine. And so when we're out there, right? I'm still trying to get there. So I'm still confused when you have a good one. I'm sweating. Brandon Bishop said he saw the movie last night. I don't know how. If you have, we need to talk, because nobody's supposed to see it yet, because there's not a finished one out there yet. But we were out there filming Billy Marshall's. It was hot. I was sweating in my balls. We were in a disgusting place. Like, there's a scene where we come up on this tent where homeless people from that they like the drug addicts and people that we know have lived out there and gotten high.
That is where the junkies go.
Right.
When they don't have anywhere else to go to live, that's where the junkies go. And our dumbasses filmed there.
Right. I'm surprised we didn't have people's, and we were having trouble with wind. We were having trouble with people with boats, rednecks, junkies talking loudly. So we had a problem shooting there. So there was a point where you're like, let's just pretend he's not a forest ranger. You were just so frustrated with it. I was like, just chill out. You and Candy were both like, that's going to be too funny. That's not going to work. And I'm just like, let it work. And dude, I was very proud of that performance. It was
Deliverance has a few more jokes in it.
Deliverance was a movie that we used as a muse
template, yeah.
Because and I'll put you over, Luke. Your guitar work. Very subtle. It's not like you're going to listen to guitar Luke going, but this really ambient. It is very akin to Deliverance. I watched Deliverance as before we started doing this, because 90% of Deliverance is B-roll, and we didn't know how much. We were very worried when we were making this movie on are we going to have a 45-minute movie? And we ended up having something like a 2-hour and 10-minute movie, and we had to cut it down 40 minutes and cut so many good scenes out. But
well, this will bore the shit out of everybody, and it'll take a second to tell. But what I did with the score is I was like, this needs to be more Southern, and I'm a blues man. I'm a blues and folk guy. It needs to be more Southern. So what I did is I actually played banjo progressions and banjo pick on a guitar. And when I was playing it, I was like, is this, when I heard it on the screen, I was like, who's playing this? Oh, is that me?
It's so subtle. It's almost like it's non-existent, which is really cool. And
but every once in a while, like a slide will hit, a certain slide or a little roll will happen. You're like, oh, yeah.
Well, as a musician, and see, we can't afford, the other thing people may not realize, you can't afford to, I can't afford to get the Beatles on this, we can't afford that. Or
hey, I'm one of the finest male guitar players.
We can't get Led Zeppelin or whatever, it costs too much money. Music for movies costs insane. So you have to find people that are willing to give you music for free. And the people who have reviewed the movie have all said the soundtrack is awesome. You've got Vox Day, which is Candy's new band, who does the opening track. During the mushroom scene, you got the hip-hop artist out of Asheville, North Carolina, Spaceman Jones and the Motherships, which
I'm a fan of now.
Oh, and yes, I love this shit. Summoner's Circle did their part in the movie, which is like very heavy metal. Miles Engel is kind of like this Appalachian / 80s new wave, like David Bowie-esque type stuff. They did one. There was a band out of Georgia called October Frequency, which did kind of a hard rock. When we were doing the Bestiality story, they're kind of doing like a Southern rock thing. And so the soundtrack, this thing. And then the guy that did the scoring for a couple of other parts, but also the fight scene. This guy had a panic attack worrying about the meticulous fight that me and you had, and scoring a 5.5 to 6 minute fight. He did. His name is Josh Jordan from Omega Rage, and he did a fantastic job.
And then Fish's song that ends it.
Fish, I forgot.
It ending with the Fisher song, which he just did a sample video. We're going to make a video for the song for him. That's something I wanted to talk to you about here in a minute. Was from Inception. That's the song I wanted to end the movie. And because this song is a mix, he's a swamp rocker. But he's also he plays in a hard rock band. He plays in country. He does also, but he said, I want to see what happens if Justin Timberlake is mashed up with Rob Zombie. And I'm like, that's kind of the point of the movie, of our movie, is let's see what happens when we mix up all these genres. Now, Brandon says he's had 2 albums that we could have used, but we really wanted to use good music.
When we do the bad music, we will come to Brandon Bishop and get some of the bad music for that movie. But no, I'm just kidding.
Was on the road with Lita. Ooh.
I saw a frog yesterday. Doo-loo-loo. So anyway, my favorite donut shop's now a 420 store. I'm from Colorado. So anyway, well, I'm about to wrap it up, man. My energy's low, and I've got some stuff to accomplish tonight.
That's something I wanted to talk to you about still.
Well, we can save it for next week, or you can, if you want to splooge it out.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that. Kind of like talk about with Candy here, because it involves us taking a road trip up to Fish's.
All right. Well, you want to save it for next week?
Yeah, let's save it for next week when Candy is here. Hey, Brandon, if you could auto-tune what we just sang and make it into a song, and then play it, and then add you rapping on the toilet, because, man, that toilet, the stuff your kids shouldn't see videos, underappreciated, man. Those things were awesome.
I think everything Brandon Bishop does is...
the Blumpkin. He does that tremendous Blumpkin.
I was just going to say, he's with what he does, he is, and everything that he has created.
Definitely, yeah. He's a human. that
the things that he is. I will say, I just bust his balls a little bit. I think I'm one of the most hardest working men in show business. I think Brandon Bishop does 10 times what I do. And I think that what he does with the SciTV and what he does starring and producing and writing and shooting and editing and promoting and selling, he's one of the few people on the planet that's like me and you that has that.
Well, he's got
auteur, but yet the other thing that we have to do, not only are we auteur filmmakers and television producers, you, Brandon, myself, you have to sell the shit. Yeah. It's not, we don't
that's
just
hand it.
That's the hardest part is the promotion, because you're tired at that point. You don't feel like getting up somewhere going, okay, everybody. At that point, you're like, I want to take a break. I wish somebody would pick this up.
Brandon's already at a level that we're hoping maybe we'll be at tomorrow at 12:30. I don't know, but Brandon's already at the point where he can go around America and shoot all these TV shows, and he doesn't. That's his job, and we want to get to the point where this is our job. We want to get to the point where Brandon Bishop is with more money, probably one or two more cats.
This is my job at the moment because of COVID. So this is what I've been doing. So we shall overcome, and we should have this week. We will have a lot of answers. So I'm excited. So Halloween, guys, check us out in 3 days. You know when Halloween is. We're going to do a wrestling with Go. I don't know. It's like one of the ones.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah. Last week I didn't do the podcast because I thought it was Tuesday, and you sent this passive aggressive message in one of our groups. It was like, I guess we're not podcasting today, dude. I thought it was fucking Tuesday. And
it wasn't a passive aggressive thing. I forgot. I thought it was Tuesday.
Really, last week?
Yeah, it hit 7:30, and I was like, oh shit, I guess we're not podcasting today.
That's how this last 6.5, 7 weeks with editing this movie has just put me in a zombie state.
That's what I want to talk about as well. My son, Wabba Fett the cat there, Mikey, his favorite scene, the best thing that's happened to his life is you put as a end credit scene, and I can't thank you more, and we have to fight to keep that as the end credit scene, which is an outtake where this very serious, tense moment, you're backing up, and Scott's walking towards you with his big machete, and then all of a sudden you realize you're standing on this slick sleeping bag, and you realize you're falling, and then you fall, and it happens pretty quick. But when we were there, and Mikey was there with us, he was the production assistant that day. It seemed like it took you an hour and a half to fall down because I want to release some kind of outtake blooper thing, but I want that to stay as an end credit scene. I want to fight for that to be an end credit scene.
Well, when you can laugh, you turn your head and talk to the person that's standing behind you, and you go, I'm falling. And it felt like, when you think back 40 seconds, it was really probably a second and a half to 2 seconds. But I knew I was about to bust my ass. And that was the hardest bump I've taken.
Oh, God, you hit the ground. It was like, the referee when two big men take a superplex, where the referee jumped in the air. And we were standing on rocks, and we're like,
yeah, it was like a superplex bump. But it had to be.
But it did take us about 20 minutes to stop laughing to go make sure you were all right. But the way I'm falling down.
I know Travis loves every time we do something. It's like we'll shoot a 2-second skit to put on YouTube. He's like, can we have a blooper reel of that? It's like, okay, I know he loves blooper reels, so that's why I put that on there. But there is a drinking game, and we'll say this and we'll leave. If you watch The Hike, every time I touch my face, because it's like I'm constantly waking up, and anytime I almost fall down, take a shot, you will not be awake by the end of the movie. I promise you.
And none of those falling downs, tripping, breaking an ankle things, none of that was in the script or on purpose. That was
maybe one maybe because after a while I was starting to like but I think like when I'm sitting on the rock and we're having an argument, I sat down on a rock and almost fell down. I was like, good God. Yeah, and we kept it because I think it's fucking
well,
hilarious.
And there's one scene that the dialogue is kind of awkward, and then you're walking away, and the dialogue kind of doesn't work, but then you like almost fall down and go, oh, I twisted my ankle or something like that.
Roll an ankle here.
Roll an ankle, and it's so funny that you have to keep it in.
Yeah, well, that's what it's funny. I talked to Candy about that yesterday because you both were like, that's an awkward scene. And I was like, I just like it because it's natural and I almost fall down again. And I told her about that yesterday and she said, well, yeah, she goes, I liked it after I watched it a couple times. So that's how we do, baby. Anything else you got to say before our Halloween extravaganza?
Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber.
Hey, that's a good point. We're 92 people away from actually being able to monetize our videos. That's huge for us. And it's not, we won't get a lot of money, but, in the past I've made 20, 30 bucks.
It's not, and now it's at the level where it's not about monetizing. It's about that landmark of 1,000 because a lot of distributors and Hollywood people and everything, even for acting roles, they look at your social media scores. And under 1,000 on YouTube is not a good social media score.
So you can help us out with that. He's absolutely right. Like every time, if we have over 1,000 subscribers, then we look like, okay, these guys may be, because there are a lot of reputable businesses, organizations, companies that only have like a couple of hundred YouTube subscribers. It looks terrible. And I know 1,000 is not a lot. I know they give awards when you get 100,000 and stuff like that, and we're not asking for that. We'll take it. But shit, if you're not a subscriber, I don't know. With me, I'm always like, I don't want to look like I'm supporting people. I don't know. It's like an asshole thing inside of myself. Get over that. Help us out. If we've ever made you laugh, cry, think, or fart, or if we've ever helped you when you're, when you're alone and under the covers and your lover is not near you and you have to have some sort of material.
Ladies.
That's right. Give us a like.
Or dudes. It's funny.
Yeah. All right, man. Good point there. It's good talking to you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's good to feel good. And it's good talking to you. And I'm not going to talk to you again until tomorrow. So,
yeah, you got to work tomorrow, right? Did you work today?
No. I woke up, like I was at it. If 10 was when I was dying this weekend, is level 10. Every day I've gone down like 1, but then this morning I woke up and I'm at normal is 0. I woke up today at about a 3, but now I'm at about a 1.
Yeah, you sound good. You're lucid. You're having a good time. You're laughing. You're funny.
I ate food. It was so good.
I had barbecue chicken.
Oh, look at you with some barbecue. You got soul. Got soul.
I do what I do,
Hey, everybody listening, Joan, and
it's over.
Everybody. We love you. We'll talk to you later.